from earlier this morning to come in goal zone, so don't go anywhere. And as I said, Pitchside Desk is on its way as well. Robbie Mustoe, Lee Dixon, Rebecca Lowe with you. Robbie, what have you learned from both of those teams today?
Well, I think from Liverpool's point of view, OK, this is some of the best opposition you're going to face. And they've kind of gradually got more serious in their opponents. Chelsea last weekend, of course, they came through that. They weren't good enough, really, today. They've got the result through a really good bit of quality down their right-hand side when Trent plays it to Nunez, that plays it to Salah. But up to that point, really, Arsenal's energy, effort was outstanding. I asked a question before the game about Mikel Arteta being this is a real test, given the expectation and the injuries, etc. Well, that was a pretty good reaction from his team, by the way, when you got many changes. And, you know, we'll go on to talk about the goals, but Gabriel's injury is a concern. It was a concern in the game, having Kiwior come on to try to play in that position, but also in the future. But up to that second goal for Liverpool, I just thought that Arsenal were far the better side and could go on and win the game. Liverpool's quality, you could never count them out.
Arsenal have got Preston North End away in midweek in the League Cup and then Newcastle away next week, but William Saliba will, of course, be back for that game. Lee, your reaction to the game?
I thought Arsenal were the better team. I think we saw that with the amount of play that they had, certainly in the first half. Second half was a bit scrappy. Liverpool got back into it. What told me about Liverpool was big team. Big team playing poorly still gets and finds a way of getting a point out of a game that they should have lost, really. So that's a big plus. Arne Slot will be saying that in the dressing room. He said, look, we weren't at our best today. We've got a point at this place. This is a good point. And then you move on. I think that's all he needs to say to his team. The players know that they didn't perform particularly well. From Arsenal's point of view, Mikel Arteta got everything out of every player on that pitch. I thought his messages to them, we thought, mate, will they sit back and go for a point? No, they were front foot. They tried to win the game. They were unlucky they didn't. They had the better chances. And I think overall he'll be very pleased. But then again, the flip side of that is that those 2 points that are dropped, you know, come Christmas time, you kind of look back and go, end of the season, it might be costly. But ultimately, I think a good day for Arsenal apart from the 2-2.
But a really good day for Manchester City, who are a point clear of Liverpool, and they're 5 points clear, Robbie, of Arsenal at this stage. Only 9 games gone. But lots of people look at the sort of 10-game mark and think that's a moment we're almost there to reflect. Go on.
Yeah, the table kind of settles down after 10. And I think there's data out there saying that there's not a ton of movement after 10 games are played in the Premier League. One more for that, of course. And you know, it's tight, and it's going to be tight. I just think Liverpool, we can now say, right, it's been good, but they're a work in progress, because that slower, more steadier passing style at the highest level in the Premier League, where the intensity from Arsenal was brilliant, you're going to get that. Their football failed, really, in terms of how they want to play. Possession, keep the ball, boss it, find players in the spots, find the midfield players, get it regularly to the outside guys. That didn't happen because of Arsenal's great energy and press, so Liverpool have got to learn.
So do you think for the next big game against the next big opponent like Arsenal, do you think Arne Slot will change that at all? Well,
he's just got to get his play. I thought the first half they lacked intensity, so maybe that's going to be something that can change, Rebecca, that this is the Premier League and these highest games, you've got to bring the fire in the belly. I thought they lacked that a little bit. And the football, maybe Slot will work more on the football to try and get it better, to give Arsenal more problems out of possession.
Come back to me in March. All this 8-game, 9-game rubbish.
Yeah, way too early.
It's way too early. We saw today, Arsenal lose, everyone's going, that's it, they're out of it. Technically, it's a big hill to climb, but ultimately, no. You come back, you've got Christmas period, you've got Champions League, you've got all the things you've got to play. You've got injuries, you've got winter, you've got flu, you've got colds, you've got all of that before you then get into the spring. Come back to me in March.
Are you coming back in March?
Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
We're going to talk to Bukayo Saka, Mikel Arteta and Virgil van Dijk. All 3 of them are going to join Graham Lasseau and John Champion, who are, as we speak, running down from the gantry to the pitchside desk. And that is on the way. But right now, it is time for your Premier League update. We're going to take you through the highlights then from this really good game in North London, Lee. We'll start 9 minutes on the clock. Great start for the Gunners.
Yeah, it was. It was a great ball from Ben White over the top, seemingly not that dangerous, but Saka's onto it. Robertson can't get with him, and when we see the little movement, you normally go to the ball and then you spin in the hole. He didn't have to. He didn't have to move Robertson. All he did was just go into the space behind. It's a really poor defensive goal to give away from a fullback of his experience. The ball's just one straight ball. He just beats him for pace. He tries to get back. He does, but the little nutmeg's just there, just sets up the goal. Top top of the roof of the net. 1-0 to Arsenal. It's a really good finish when you get here. It's quite easy to lose your head, but he's a great finisher. Superb left foot.
Youngest Arsenal player to reach 50 Premier League goals, Bukayo Saka, 18 minutes, 1-1.
Yeah, we talked about the near post flick on, and Diaz just gets in front of Havertz. Should be side on, his body position's all wrong, and Van Dijk making the most of the little flick. You just see him just nip in front there. Havertz has got no clue he's coming, and by that time it's too late. The flick on it is going to go into a dangerous area. It could be an own goal, but Van Dijk gets something on it.
Another set piece from Arsenal as Gabriel tells Havertz what he thinks about his marking, what you showed us at half-time, and here's that set piece, 2-1.
Yeah, we saw one just before that Merino nearly got on the end of. Superb delivery from Wright. That really is a difficult ball, not only to get something on defensively to clear it, but as soon as the forwards get ahead of you, it doesn't take a lot to get into the net with the power and the whip, and he's becoming a very, very good set-piece specialist. Declan Rice, 2-1 Arsenal.
Into the second half, injury for Gabriel, you mentioned it, Robbie, it's a worry.
Yeah, it's a worry, both in the short and long term this. I mean, we know the injuries they've got, the problems defensively. He has been superb, this player. Superb for Arsenal last season into this season. Kivior made a mistake in the last game, wasn't trusted to start this game, but it has to come in at this point. Gabriel walking down the tunnel there, and that's something that we thought might be a problem. But again, Arsenal's football for the most part was really good, and this is actually going to be a Liverpool goal, so just remember that. Doesn't gather the ball here, but even so, Trent Alexander's going to play the ball inside. He's going to get it back again, and Arsenal a little less intense at this point, and it's a brilliant ball in behind, and Kivior gets the flight of the path wrong, so he is out of the game. Nunez gets, as we said about getting in behind, he does that. This is a different angle, so just watch Kivior here, the left-sided centre-back here, as it comes back out to Trent. If we get that look here, it's the first time we're looking at this angle here, and the centre defender, the second player from the left of Arsenal, there. He thinks he can get the ball, he can't, and that changes everything, because then players have to change position to come and cover that player. And Mo Salah does really well, Rebecca. And as soon as that connects with Salah, you know he's not going to miss there from 6 yards out with that left foot. Strokes in the back, and that was the equalising goal.
Yeah, and Kivior might have to play, might need next game against Newcastle. 19 minutes on the clock. Arsenal thought they'd won it.
Well, they did, and there's so much that goes on here. Quite honestly, all we know is that Anthony Taylor blew his whistle way before. He saw a foul in the build-up to it. I think there's a push in there that he's talking about before. Is it that bit there? We think it is, because the whistle blows there before any of this stuff, any of that other challenge there, and there wasn't too many complaints, to be fair, from Arsenal.
Carry this conversation on after we've heard from Virgil van Dijk, who is with John and Graham.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, Virgil van Dijk, very kind to join us so quickly after the final whistle of what, for us as neutrals, was a terrific game to watch. But I wonder, from your point of view, is a point the height of your ambition as you got towards the last quarter of an hour and Arsenal were leading?
I think maybe the point is a fair result. I think, obviously, we kept pushing in the second half, scoring in my eyes, the well-deserved equaliser. And I think, you know, there were no massive chances in the end, but obviously we tried to push and we tried to score. But I think it's a fair result in the end.
Yeah. How difficult is it to play against Arsenal? They work really hard on set pieces. I saw you getting blocked off a few times at set pieces. Dealing with that's tough in itself. We all know players do it. They seem to do it particularly well, but they had some intensity about their game today. You had to weather quite a lot of pressure during periods of the match.
Yeah, but I think that's not the issue. I think we all know if you come here, it's always a difficult place to come, because obviously they have a lot of quality on the pitch. But like you said, obviously the set piece as well, they work a lot on it. But we all obviously analyze it, and we have to fight, and we have to try and not concede. But they have to do that as well. And obviously you see, both score off of set pieces, and could have changed the game, won the game. But in the end, you know, it's the point that we move.
Yeah, we're 9 games into the season, and of course all of us on the outside looking in are trying to detect what's new, what's different about Arne Slot's version of Liverpool. But for you from the inside, we're 9 games in. Is it very different, slightly different? How does it feel?
It feels good. Yeah, listen, I think...
But there are degrees of good, aren't there? There are degrees of comfort.
Listen, I feel like it's a work in progress. I think we can still dominate games better. because we have the quality and we show it in games, but we want to do it for the whole game. And we play in arguably the best league in the world, so the opponents are very difficult. But we want to be consistent in trying to do that. And obviously, he has his philosophy, has his demands from us in what we do in possession, without possession. So it's a learning curve, but the results have been good. In the end of the day, football is a result business, and we have to keep doing that, but also want to know and want to keep improving as well. So that's what we try to achieve.
Yeah. Good of you to come out so quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let me relieve you of that microphone as well. Thank you.
All the best.
So Virgil van Dijk, I think interesting to hear the transition really from one manager to another. And there you are, Bukayo. Hello.
Thank you for your
We're joined by
patience.
Bukayo Saka, who's been kind enough to step to the desk as well. Bukayo, thank you for being patient with us there. You've had to be patient the last couple of weeks because of injury. How good did it feel to be back today?
Yeah, I hate missing games, and for me it was tough to watch from the side, but I did everything to come back for this game, and I felt good out there, so it was nice to be back.
Yeah. Did you always have this game penciled in as the one in which you would return?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it took you 8.5 minutes, didn't it, to make the impact?
And being captain today as well, you played a real captain's role, I felt. You really wanted to assert yourself in that match.
Thank you. No, I try to do my best, whether I'm captain or not, to do what my job is in this team. And yeah, it's just a shame we didn't get the win. It's disappointing.
Yeah, of course. But did you? I mean, given the injuries and the build-up to the game, did you feel, if you take the lateness of Liverpool's goal, the actual performance was an excellent performance through the team, wasn't it?
No, it was a good performance, but not for 90 minutes. I feel most of the game, especially the first half, we didn't give them anything. They only scored through a set piece, but I don't remember them creating much other than that. But after that, in second half, we sunk back and they started to win the duels, and they started to get momentum. So we're a bit disappointed there, but yeah, for us, we have to do better.
Yeah, you reached a landmark today, 50 Premier League goals, far younger than most players to do it at 23. I wonder, in the whirlwind of your career and all you've achieved, do you ever get the chance to sit back and think, crikey, I'm doing quite well here?
No, I don't. I think I need to give myself a pat on the shoulder sometimes, but I'm not like this. I just want more and more and more, and I'm just going to keep pushing until the day I hang my boots up.
And in terms of Arsenal as a whole, Lee Dixon is part of our broadcast crew, an Arsenal great of yesteryear. He's of the opinion that there is something extra about Arsenal this year, which could make that fractional difference to carry you over the line first. Is that the feeling in the camp as well?
Yeah, we believe. We're just going to come out here in every game and try to win each game. That's all we can do. And yeah, I don't know what he means by extra. It could mean anything, but we have that belief in the camp, and yeah, we're just going to keep pushing.
Just briefly talk us through that goal. It was a wonderful pass by Ben White, but your movement, it was quite straightforward, your movement, wasn't it? You didn't really go towards the ball, and you went in, and then just get through. We've got a clip of it here, but just that bit of great skill.
Yeah, first of all, 100%, it was a fantastic pass from Ben. And yeah, as soon as I got in the box, I tried to come back on my left foot, and I just felt to go near post high, and yeah, it came off nice.
And that check back with your left foot, how soon had you made your mind up you were going to do that? Once you knew where Andy Robertson was in terms of his position?
Yeah, he's pretty quick, and he was recovering quite quick as well. So I just went against his momentum, and yeah, the ball fell for me. Goal. Yeah, thank you.
It was. So now Newcastle, then it's Inter, then it's Chelsea, and these big games just keep on
Preston,
coming.
don't forget Preston.
Yeah. With respects to Preston and Deepdale, do you get the night off, or are you expecting to play in that as well?
That's the boss's decision, but if I have to play, I'm more than happy to. Carabao Cup is a trophy that I want to win. I haven't won yet, so if I have to play, I'll do my best.
Well, we as neutrals greatly enjoyed today's game and your contribution to it. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back live to Graham and John. They've got the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I imagine there's a degree of disappointment at not winning that game.
Yeah, 100%. Because, understanding the context that we are in at the moment and what we are through, the way we played, especially the first half, and the fact that we have conceded anything to actually concede 2 goals, lose the game, is tough.
If you flip it into the positive, though, you must be so proud of some of those performances tonight. Martinelli, Saka, the effort, the change in the defence, and the way everybody stood up and really delivered a some good performances.
I had no doubt. I said a few days before, you know, we will be flying on Sunday, and that was my feeling, that the team was flying. It was full of energy, confidence, determination. We played against the actual best team in the Premier League, at least in the terms of points, and we were better than them, and we should have won the game. But as well, we have to fault ourselves for two things. One, not playing enough in the second half when we had to, and then, yeah, when we have situations that the way we concede the second goal, obviously, you are in trouble against Liverpool.
Yeah, and you went into the game, obviously, without William Saliba. It was well documented. You've talked about that. Gabriel came off injured. Is there any news of his condition?
We don't know yet, but obviously we had a lot of injuries because we lost Ricky, we lost Tomiyasu, we lost Willy, but Jurgen was injured. He trained half a day and then he played. Honestly, the spirit of the team, the determination they have is tremendous. I'm so proud of that, but very disappointed because I think today we deserve that extra thing to win the game.
Yeah, and is there anything you can any learning you can take away from that last 20 minutes? If you just say that last third of the game, is there something that you as a coach will, I know it's so straight after the game, but you'll say if we'd done a little bit more of this or stopped doing a little bit of that, that would have made the difference. I couldn't see it in the game particularly.
Well, especially don't allow them to run in open spaces, and they've done it in two ways. One, when you don't finish the actions, especially when you are running, we attract them, we play vertical, we have to finish the actions, we don't. And the other one, when we started to play a little bit more direct, and then they have spaces to run behind you. But yeah, we can always learn.
OK, well, Mikel, thank you for coming out and talking so frankly, because I know there is a degree of disappointment.
North London, delighted to say there he is. Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, has just joined Graham and John.
Yeah, Arne Slot has just come into shot after what, in the end, was a fairly satisfactory result for you, I imagine, was it?
If you would have asked me at half-time that we would left this place with a draw, I think I would have been very, very happy. After the game, you always feel a bit like, could we have done more? But for me, a draw felt, for me, and that's what you're asking, as a fair result.
Yes.
And do you feel, did Arsenal give you a few surprises? I mean, their intensity was another level, I thought, for much of that game.
For the first half, I agree with you. I think the second half, our intensity was from another level. But the first half was very difficult for us. Can they surprise you? Actually, they can, because they can play in so many different formations, setups, that you always have to wonder where did they come up with. And now they played with a false nine, with the midfielders really wide. So I didn't feel we had complete control in the first half. I was really pleased with us scoring a set piece over here. The downside to that was that we also conceded one, but I think Arsenal deserved to be 2-1 up at half-time.
And the wide men, I thought, of Arsenal were causing a lot of problems. It forced Andy Robertson deep and Trent deep as well, didn't it, in that first half?
First goal was an example of this, I think, where you saw the quality of Saka. Maybe we had to do better, but sometimes you have to give credits to these special wingers that are playing this game, and I think Saka played, especially first half, an outstanding game. Then to be 2-1 down, although I didn't think they had so many other opportunities, but they were by far the better team in the first half. Then I wouldn't say it's a surprise for me, because I know these players, but with one day less to recover than Arsenal, with having played an away leg, and then to show up the second half the way we did, with the intensity we played with, that was very pleasing to see.
Yeah. Was that the toughest test so far in your time?
I thought last week was a real tough test for us as well, and if you go to Old Trafford, it's always a tough test also, because we won that game with 3-0, and we deserved to win that game, but it wasn't a 3-0 win game, if you know what I mean, so that was also a tough test. And last week it was as well, but we've played Wolves away, and we were just able to beat them, so many games have been tough for us, but this one definitely also.
And do you feel, how are you getting to know the players now? Because you're in, and you've got regular training with them. Are you sort of really feeling you're getting to understand the individuals and what they're capable of, as well as then the collective group?
Yeah, I think if you come into this role, you know already quite a lot what you can expect in terms of quality. Then when you start to work with them, you see it on a daily basis, and they play the games. So then you see the quality. What still is something you don't know yet is how is their mentality. Okay, you know what they did last season many times, but last week we had to defend the lead 2-1 up, and I saw great mentality in that aspect, and now we were 2-1 down in a hostile environment like this, because I think the fans of Arsenal were really into the game, put a lot of pressure on every decision, and then to show up the way we did the second half with that mentality to find an extra gear and to make it really difficult for Arsenal was for me something I've seen a lot, but not in being 2-1 down in a difficult away game as this, and then to react the way we did.
Yeah. Help us, Arne, because in our trade we like to have timescales, we like to make judgments. You would hate it as a football manager that we try and do that, but that's our game. We're wondering when it's fair to start making a judgment on your version of Liverpool. In your mind, when is it fair for those of us on the outside to draw an opinion? How much evidence do we need before we get to that stage?
Well, I think everybody is allowed to have an opinion after 1 game, 2 games after pre-season, so that is also what makes this game so great. That's also why we make some money out of it. There's so many pundits in this country.
All of us make money.
Not all of you make money. Okay. Jamie make the most. Jamie Carragher makes the most.
Without question.
Without a question. Yeah. But he's also the best pundit. Isn't
He told you that, did he?
Yeah. No, I think he is. He's mostly very positive about us. No. I said before this week, it is still possible to judge us, although we haven't had that much of a difficult schedule. Again, playing Old Trafford away is also very difficult. Now, after this week, it would be quite simple to say, okay, you had a win and a draw. Now, all of a sudden, you're great. Still, the upcoming 2 weeks are, before the international break, are going to be really tough. And we had some injuries today, like Arsenal. So many obstacles to take, but a very good start to the season.
Well, we've been kind to you today on NBC Across America. Okay. I presume Jamie Carragher's been really kind to you today.
then you have to raise his salary.
Yeah. No, we really don't, Arne.
I don't think you need
That's
to.
on record.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for coming to join us. Let me remove that from you. So there we have it. We have really spent the day with Graham perched on this fence that we identified before the game. We're going to remove some of his splinters, but gallingly, Rebecca, he was right. It did end all square.
Oh, terrible day when that happens. Graham and John, thank you so much. And they're off, and we'll see them next weekend. Thank you for their input today. During that interview, when we were all listening to Arne Slot, Lee Dixon just went, I love him.
He's my new favourite manager.
Because?
I mean, how well does he communicate? You know, and also he's not just communicating to the supporters, the experts, the football people, whatever you want to call it. Everybody can listen to what he just said and understand what he said. He's very clear about how the game went, very honest about what he get. I was trying to disagree with him because obviously I wanted Arsenal to win the game, but I'm listening to him and going, yeah, do you know what? He's right. Everything he said made complete sense, and I think he's got a very calm way about him. And I'm not saying Klopp was wrong. I'm just saying it was different. It's so different. I think the team we see is playing in a different way. But I think if you've got somebody like that at the helm, and he's got obviously his ideas on how to play the game, and the players are picking that up. I think when you've got somebody like that can steer them through difficult times when they come, and very honest about I mean, quite easy for him to say we haven't played anybody yet, you know, and he's actually pointed out how the season's gone so far. I thought he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Robbie, he comes across very confidently as well, and it's very refreshing because he answers every single question with an answer to the question that was asked. Doesn't always happen. Doesn't always happen.
We want somebody to be honest, and I think he is, and also give us a little bit of something. Yeah. And he did give us something. He talked about why it was difficult in the first half. My opinion was that Liverpool weren't very aggressive without Arsenal playing, and he was saying, well, the way that they set up surprised us a little bit, and we never really got to grips with pressing, efficiently as they'd like to have done. Now, I still think that the team's got to be able to adjust, and a little bit more aggression and a little bit more energy might have found a way to stop Arsenal a little bit. But it's nice to hear his side of it. And when he can educate us in some things and tell us how it is from his point of view, it's brilliant. So he's right. Look at the league table right now. They're set in second place. Just 1 loss, 1 draw. Really good start. And I think somebody said it earlier, it is a work in progress, Liverpool. It is early.
Virgil van Dijk said that.
Virgil, yeah, so we will see how they
March.
go.
March.
Look at
Dicko said March.
Back in March.
But also, Lee, we have to remember that he is also adapting to English football.
Absolutely.
He is adapting to the Premier League. First time he's ever managed a game of football in the Premier League at Arsenal, for example. It must be so much for him to take in.
Yeah, because I think you can watch as much football as you like on the TV. You can be actually at games, but until you're down on pitch side and you can watch a game from up there, you watch a game on row 1 and it's completely different. If you're in the dugout and you're actually trying to move players around. It is that league is so frenetic. I think it'll be a little eye opener for him to go, wow. I think he'll realise over this period of time how big a competition he's involved in. And it doesn't get any better than Liverpool Football Club. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. The tradition that he seems like he would embrace the tradition. Yeah, I love him.
You certainly do. You do that. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Let me remind you what the table is looking like before we head off. So City have a point lead over Liverpool in second. Arsenal there, 4 points behind Liverpool, 5 off top, level on points with Villa. Chelsea are just outside that top 4, but aren't they doing well with 5 wins and 2 draws and 2 defeats? Brighton in 6th, Forest into the top 7, dropping Tottenham down to 8th, Brentford in the top 9 and Fulham making up that top 10. Bournemouth in 11th, Newcastle dropping down to 12th. Manchester United, that's going to be on the back pages tomorrow, as well as this Arsenal-Liverpool game, in 14th position, 11 points on the board. Yes, they're 7 points clear of that bottom 3, but they're sitting in 14th, just above Leicester. Everton level on points with Leicester. Palace just outside the relegation zone, which is filled right now with 3 teams without a victory between them. Ipswich, Wolves, and rooted to the foot of the table on goal difference, goal scored, in fact, Southampton.
Full goal for Saka, put Liverpool, down straight away, and it shows you though that his form is excellent, isn't it, Bukayo Saka? He's a big player now for Arsenal, really important player at such a young age.
Yeah, and there you go, 50 Premier League goals, and you can see some of the names he's with in terms of the youngest to it. And from a wide player coming into the team, that's impressive figures.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. I love his attitude. I think he's missed the last 2 games before today, and that's the first time in 5 years that he's missed back-to-back games, which, when you consider who he is and how many times he gets kicked, you can't help but just like his attitude and like everything about him. Got great ability, and it was a great goal. And that first half in particular showed how much he means to the Arsenal team, and that they're not quite the same without him. But that's understandable because he's got that much ability.
And he is so durable, isn't he, as Alan says? That's some record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When you consider he's been in the side since he's, just 17, and he's been not only for Arsenal but England as well, and playing at a high standard. This is why I find it's really unfair on him when people are constantly comparing him to other people and other players who come along and they've been doing their stuff for like 18 months, and he's been doing it for coming on 5 years now. And he's been consistent with what he's doing. I'm just pleased that he can come into a game like this and at levels like he has and just continue to show what he's capable of doing consistently.
As you say, Liverpool weren't at their very best today, but they managed goals in both halves. And the first one was well worked from a set play from there.
Yeah, it was. Trent Alexander-Arnold, nice whip ball in. I mean, it's Luis Diaz, really. His movements is... You see he's causing chaos on the touchline with Raya, and then the fact that he darts in front of Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has to be more aware. He cannot allow him to get in there. And as soon as he gets a flick onto it, it's always going to cause chaos. And Van Dijk was the one who was alive to it, closely marked by Partey. And it's a goal from nothing, really, but the set pieces really count in these big games, don't they? Small margins, and any advantage you can take care of, and that was the same there today.
Yeah, great ball in, great movement. But from a defensive point of view, we talk about Arsenal, how sort of good they are at attacking set pieces. That will be something they'll look back on with regret. I mean, particularly Kai Havertz, because he just didn't open his body up. He allowed Diaz to get in front of him. If you're on the half turn, and then he doesn't get in front of you, block him, you stop him. Yeah. That's part of your job at that near post. Do not let any opposition player in front of you, because that's what will happen.
Yeah. It's a strange one because, like, the way he starts just in front of the near post. So even more, you'd think, I'm going to make sure my arms, get my arm somewhere out. It's not something that I had to do, but I've seen people do it on that near post. You get your arm and you're off. So as if somebody does come, you can at least ease them out of the way. Because when you look at the flight it came in on that, all he needed was step out another yard and he probably heads that away. So, like you say, I think Al's right. You probably look back at that one and you think, again, that could have been avoided. And that's the margins.
And as Alan says, we know how dangerous they are from attacking set plays, and Declan Rice's deliveries today were, particularly in that first half, were a big part of it, weren't they?
Yes, look, because when you look at the goal, what Merino scores, it's being put into such a dangerous area. It's begging you to just go and head it. You don't have to do anything with it. You just have to get your head on it And thankfully for us, Merino did that. But like the ball makes this goal. I think Saka is the same. His deliveries are so good, but Declan's delivery today was absolutely bang on. It's class.
Is that a dream from attacking point of view? That type of ball?
Yeah, because you just got to make a connection. Everything's on it. The pace is on it. The whip is on it. You've just got to you've got to time your run. Obviously, try and stay on side, and then just get the connection on it because the pace is there, and that will take care of the rest of it if you get it on target. Great ball, fantastic header. Yeah,
Mikel Merino's first Arsenal goal that put them 2-1 in front. Liverpool know Arsenal's strength, as we mentioned, 27 from set plays since the start of last season, 4 more than any other team. But
as I said,
it's one thing knowing it's another thing.
Well, they can't stop it, can they? They conceded the goal at Anfield last year. I remember early on in the game, I think it was Gabriel who scored from a set piece, and they got caught again today. Unfortunately, they did. Was he slightly offside? No, he wasn't. Virgil van Dijk's left foot was playing him onside. But they have numerous set-piece routines, don't they, that they go through. That was a different one there, where they get inside the players, starting an offside position. But it causes chaos. And the fact that they're getting those rewards, it's incredibly important for them.
It's the delivery, it's the delivery.
Delivery's brilliant,
When you've got someone who was as good as, like Arsenal have, with Saka one side delivering and Rice from another side, and when you've also got players who are desperate to get on the end of it, and also players who have got great movement, it's all right saying, well, we know what you do. It's another thing actually stopping it, because there's so many things have to be right in the set piece for it to be the perfect one like that. The ball, the movement, the blocking, the connection, all of these things. And Arsenal, as we know, are magnificent at them.
Also, we know how brilliant Trent Alexander-Arnold distribution is. We didn't see it that often today, but we did for the all-important equaliser, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was a bit like the Ben White, Saka movements in the first half. Lots of time and space for Trent to get on the ball and lift his head up. And more importantly, as Al was saying, good movements. Salah's gone, Nunez has gone. Salah may have been offside, so thankfully Darwin Nunez took over. And then he puts it on the plate for Mo Salah. It was a really nice ball by Nunez. Very unselfish run.
The pulls
it back.
Salah's incredible.
It is. You know, no one's going to stop him there. I thought that was pretty good what he done, because you can see he's just overrun it. He's had to adjust his feet very quickly, Darwin Nunez, to get that to him. But you know, he's done very well. But like, obviously, I was gutted to see this, because even with the moving initially, with the ball through to Martinelli, I would have preferred him in the moment and the way Arsenal were playing to kind of get that ball and go out to the left side, rather than try to take the 2 players on and maybe lose it to get into that situation. So again, you look back and you think, this if, but we got punished.
And with Liverpool making those substitutions, a few people thought Diaz was having a good game. That's the reason you never take Mo Salah off, isn't it?
No,
you hadn't hardly mentioned his name today.
No, he didn't touch the ball a lot. He wasn't involved as he normally would like to be, or want to be. But you know, whilst he's on the pitch, you're always going to have an opportunity, and you're absolutely right. Why would you take your best goal scorer off? Because he can produce something like that. His movement was just incredible. To go down the line, to leave it to Nunez, and then to get himself into the position where he's just hoping and praying that Darwin Nunez actually finds it.
Yes.
Because that was the one worry, because he was off balance a bit, Nunez, but he actually did. It was a great ball, and it was crying out to be put in the back.
Yeah, and he doesn't play it in front of Ben White, does he? You know, he does hold it up. And maybe that little stumble gets Ben White moving as well. Because in the end, Ben White just gets caught. Gets caught behind with the ball itself. And Mo Salah cannot miss from that type of range.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 6 for the season, and Arsenal sick of the sight of him, because only Man United he's scored more goals against in his career than Arsenal. He's into double figures.
Brilliant for him.
You didn't say that before. You
Well done to Mo. Well done, Mo.
Well done, Mo.
Yeah.
You were calling them no Mo. He was calling them no Mo at half time. Suddenly.
Bro Salah. And he said, well, that's what he does. Shuts you up, and he shut me up.
And from Liverpool's point of view, Alan, to get something from the game under Slot, still just 1 defeat in all competitions.
Yeah, I think when they pick the bones out of the performance, there'll be plenty of things that he'll look back on thinking, we could have done better there. So when you haven't played to your best of your ability, then you take what you can out of the game. And we said before the game, the important thing is, if you can't win the game, don't get beat. And Liverpool came back twice, I think they deserved the point. And I said I don't think both teams did enough to take all 3 points. So I think when both teams look at it, they'll think it was a fair result as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's a hard place to go, isn't it? As we mentioned, Liverpool have played Chelsea, then they've gone to Leipzig, got a really good result. They've got 4 out of 6 against really good London opposition in Chelsea and in Arsenal. A hard week, so they'll be pleased to get back home.
OK, let's speak to the Liverpool captain live at the Emirates Stadium. Virgil van Dijk, of course, got that first equaliser. Virgil, thanks for joining us. I guess when you've been behind twice at the Emirates, you take 2-2?
Well, you know, we came here to win, and obviously to come behind twice and come back is a positive thing. I think the second half, I think we kept pushing and deserved the equaliser. But at the end of the day, it's a fair result, I think. Big battle for both teams, and it was harder there, but obviously for both teams. And I think it was the intensity of pressing and obviously first half they had the momentum, especially after the second goal, and obviously the second half was clear. Our intensity was much better and higher.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the difference second half from your point of view? Much better.
We kept the ball a little bit longer. We could get more possession, grow into the game a little bit more, let them run a little bit more, and obviously in the end of the day they got tired as well, and gaps will open up. You know, at times they want to press you in 1v1 situations, and it's never easy to run all over the pitch and follow your man, especially when you're getting tired. So we had to keep playing. We had to try and be very secure with the ball and don't give easy passes away, because obviously we all know that they have the quality to hurt you on the break.
Virgil, it's Maka. How is everybody feeling within the camp? A lot of intensive games, you know, in such a short space of time.
Fine. Listen, obviously, it's like you said, but for everyone is the case. All the teams that are playing so many games, and you know, now we travel back, we home late night, and then on Tuesday we travel to Brighton, and then play Brighton, and on midnight we back, and then Thursday we have a recovery session. Friday we back training -1. Saturday play Brighton again. Obviously, I don't complain whatsoever, but we have to look after ourselves, and today was a big battle. We're gonna recover now and take a lot of good points from today, and also a lot of things that we have to improve, because obviously we're striving for perfection. We all know that's almost impossible, but we keep trying, and let's see where it brings us.
Virgil, hi, Alan Shearer. Well done today. Can you give us an opening into your mind in terms of your mindset when you're defending those set pieces that Arsenal are so good at, particularly with the quality they've got on delivery? Is it a case of trying to be as brave as possible and holding that line? I mean, you got caught by a matter of centimetres, really, with a great ball in the head of that Merino got done. But is it trying to hold it as long as possible and be brave?
Yeah, well, listen, you know, we all seen over this season and last season how good they can be in set pieces. But it starts with not giving silly fouls away. I think it was a couple of times, and maybe it wasn't a foul, but obviously the ref gave it a couple of times, and then you know, give them the opportunity to put those crosses in, and yeah, like you said, obviously with the goals, like centimetre where I think if I jump a little bit higher, obviously it's possible I could flick it away, but listen, I think they were also vulnerable in set pieces, and we showed that as well today. So obviously it's a big part of football, and they are doing a very good job with it. So yeah, fair play. Yeah.
Well, well done for coming back. Really appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Virgil.
Nice one, Virg.
Thanks. Ian, no question yet, Ian?
No, because they didn't give me no time for one, Virg.
Go on, ask a quick one, right?
There's always time for you.
Ask a quick one.
Go on, Wright.
No, I was just going to say, Virg, you look great.
You do, man. How's your knee?
You know what, Virg, it's getting there. But, like, you know...
Mo Salah made it worse. Put it that way, Virgil.
Virgil, he's got it on the stool here. He's got it on the stool with cushions and everything.
I just want to say, well done, Virg. You lot have started well. People talking about how easy the start's been for Liverpool, but you have to make it look easy. I was hoping you lot wouldn't win today, but you done it again. You came back and done your stuff. So, well done, Virgil. I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Ian. See you soon, man.
God bless you.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Virgil. Thank you very much indeed.
Don't not ask.
What a caring Liverpool captain asking about your knees.
I know, Virgil. I love Virgil. You know what I mean? You can't just blank me like that when Virgil's on there.
No.
They blank me. Thank you very much.
I can't believe
it wasn't you, Steve. I heard him. I heard
Thank you, Wright.
Yeah, who was it?
It wasn't Steve.
Who was it?
It wasn't
Hobbs.
It was Hobbsy.
Hobbsy. Righty wants a question.
Yeah. He didn't blank Alan because he's a Newcastle.
I know.
Right, we're going to get some Arsenal reaction very shortly, indeed. Will Liverpool be slightly happier than Arsenal? You can hear Virgil's delight at coming back there.
I think so, yeah. Because, again, like, they started very well. People are talking about this is the game to find out what Liverpool are about because their start has been so-called easy. But I think that they'll probably be disappointed with the fact that there's a few of their players who didn't play as well as they know they can play. But other than that, you come to Arsenal and get a draw, you've got to be happy with that.
Right, in my ear, they want to put it right. So we're going to speak to Mikel Merino, who scored his first goal for Arsenal.
Nice one, Mikel.
And Ian Wright, you can open it up. Go on, you can speak to Mikel Merino.
Mikel, congratulations on your first goal for the club. I just wanted to ask you, how was that? How did you find that game in respect of such an important game against such a big team?
Well, hi everyone. It's an honor to be talking to you. First of all, thank you very much for the congratulations. It was a tough game, to be honest, against a huge rival at home. It was an amazing atmosphere. You could sense that it was a massive game for the club and for the players. A little butterflies in the stomach, to be honest. My first start at home. But, well, I felt pretty confident in the pitch. My teammates helped me a lot. The fans were amazing today. Disappointed to get the 3 points, but I think the team did an amazing job today.
And to get your first goal, we've been talking about the team you've come into with the best set-piece record. I mean, the delivery of Declan Rice for your goal. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's an amazing ball. Declan has an incredible touch. We pride ourselves on training a lot, set pieces. We have an amazing team in the physical aspect, and we train a lot. So it's always great to see that the thing to train in the training camp, in the training ground, sometimes works on the pitch, and that obviously encourages you to keep training and to put more effort on it.
Mikel, Steve McManaman here. Congratulations today. What a year winning the European Championships as well in the summer. How are you finding the adaptation? How are you finding life in London? Is it similar to Sociedad?
Well, it's similar because it rains a lot.
It rains a lot,
But some differences in the tactical aspect. Obviously, this is a massive city, London, a massive club. You don't realize how big this club is until you're here. Yeah, not the best start for me with the injury in the scapula, a couple of problems there, but. Obviously trying to bounce back, now starting to feel my legs again, trying to learn the tactics and the new system. And I think everybody has been so good to me, trying to learn, trying to teach me, being very patient with me. So yeah, just really happy with the adaptation at the club. This is the perfect place for me for sure.
Nice. Mikel, hi, it's Alan Shearer. We all felt here today that a draw was probably a fair result. What do you think?
Obviously, I think it is a tough game to win today. We have similar options to score. I think our team in general, when we were playing the football we know how to play, we were superior and we had the tempo of the game. But obviously, when we started doing things that we normally don't do, things started to change. It was a really competitive game. When we were at our best, I think we were better. So you could say it's a fair result, but for me, we should have won this game. It's 1 point, but I think we have to be disappointed because we wanted the 3 points, and we have to aim for that for the next time.
Nice. And just finally, Mikel, you're talking about settling in now. I wonder what you found about the intensity of one of the biggest Premier League fixtures, Liverpool-Arsenal, down the years today to play in.
Yeah, Premier League is amazing. The pace, the strength of the players, the rhythm that the game has. You need some time to adapt to it. It's pretty different to what we experience in La Liga, with more time on the ball, with more tactical, maybe style of game. And here you have both, no? You have a little bit of tactical as well, but when you have duels, you know, you have here the best players in the world. Physicality is key, and you have to be 100% to win every duel, because at the same time you lose a duel, it's a transition. In the transition you have 1v1s, you have Salah, you have Darwin, you have Diaz running in your back, and it's always tough. So every game is about details, and if you lose one duel, can be the difference between winning the game or not. So yeah, Premier League is unbelievable, and you have to adapt to it.
Nice.
Well done today. I was about to wish you good luck for the week, but Alan told me not to, because it's St James's Park next, isn't it? So back to your old club.
He knows about that.
Yeah, I know how it feels, and I'm really looking forward to go back home and see a couple of friends, feel again the atmosphere at St James's Park. I have really good memories from my time there, and just hoping to go there and enjoy, for sure.
Nice. Well done today.
Beautiful.
Congratulations on your goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You had to show off your bit.
It's the only way to know.
Right, more reaction on the way. Here's the Arsenal boss, Mikel Arteta.
How has all that left you feeling? I guess you'd been through a real range of emotions today.
Yeah, very proud of the team for different reasons. The first one, because the courage, the quality, the domination, the absolute game that we wanted to play, especially in the first half, and the score should have even bigger in my opinion. So big chances. Then it's true that we had to make changes. They came out a little bit. We didn't have enough courage to play in the first phase more than we should have done. And there are certain very particular moments as well that I think dictates the results.
So does all the context, all the circumstances around this, the missing players, make you even more proud of your players, the ones that were out there?
Even like this, we deserve to win the game. I think we're the better team, and we didn't. So obviously there are learnings to take from that, especially where we concede both goals. The second one, there is transition moment. We have to end up in the final third with a chance to set there, and 10 seconds later we are 2v1 inside our own box at this level against this team. Obviously, you cannot give that away.
I think everyone would agree you controlled the first half. What was the key to that?
Well, because we were very clear what we have to do, the execution, the quality that we showed, the determination, the aggression as well, without the ball to go and attack them and regain the ball straight after was really good, but probably we should lack a few moments where we should have put the ball in the net.
Yeah, but Bukayo Saka's just been out and stood where you're standing. So we didn't play for the full 90. Would you agree with that? Second half didn't match what you'd done first half?
Yeah, especially in that first phase, as I said, that we needed more courage to play like we've done in certain moments, and it's where we created big opportunities.
Do you think losing Gabriel early in that second half, on top of the players you're already out without, do you think that has a psychological effect on the guys that are out there? You become a bit more determined to hold what you've got?
I don't know, and we won't know, but that's the reality that we have at the moment, and we have to face it. That's it.
Can you update us on when you might start having players back? Let me first ask about Timber. Yeah. Did you expect him not to make the full 90?
Well, I don't know exactly what happened, but he said he cannot carry on, and Big Gabby as well, so I don't know.
You don't know how serious they are. Martin Odegaard?
As well, I think he's still a bit far.
Okay. Yeah. Let me lastly ask you, Mikel, I think Pep Guardiola said towards the start of the season, you can't win the Premier League in the first sort of 9, 10 games, but you can lose it. Do you think what you're doing right now is staying in the fight?
Well, we're going to stay. We're going to try our best. And again, I think the context that we have played those 9 games, probably nobody could ever imagine that it was going to be the case. But I think the character, the personality today, the way we play today against the top team at the moment in the Premier League, it was unbelievable understanding where we are at the moment.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Brilliant, Mikel.
Maybe the thoughts. What did you think was brilliant?
No, I just like him. I just like everything what he's trying to do for the club. I love the way he not only protects the players, but he's a winner. He wants to win, and he will do whatever it takes to try and win. I love that about him.
He thought they were the better team today.
They were in the first half, there's no doubt about that. But I think Liverpool certainly came back into it second half. But that's fine. He's probably got his Arsenal tinted glasses on, and I expect that. And Arne Slot might come in and say the same thing. But I think
like you talk about Newcastle, to be fair, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, absolutely the same. Yeah. So, but I thought it was. it was evenly matched today over the 90 minutes or 95 minutes or whatever it was, and both teams deserved a point.
There wasn't there wasn't lots and lots of chances either way, where you could say, oh, this should have happened and that should have happened. It was a battle. And, you know, Liverpool equalised twice and took their moments. Arsenal, I didn't think Arsenal did enough in the second half. I think with people going off the field and people playing out of position, they did drop back and they allowed Liverpool to get lots of possession in the second half. I don't think Liverpool did necessarily a lot with that possession, but they certainly deserved to get back into the game, which they did. And I'm with Al. I don't think Liverpool then did enough to go on and win the game. And likewise, Arsenal almost settled for that then as well.
Yeah, but I thought that there was a spell in that second half where, you know, obviously when we've gone down to 10 men, it looked like that. It looked like, again, was
that the defensive disruption?
I think so, yeah, maybe, but like it looked a little bit like everybody's a little bit like, hang on, we're in the lead, let's protect it rather than keep playing. Maybe keep playing, but then again, I was saying I'd rather us get something out of the game, manage the game to a certain place where you're thinking we've got to get something out of the game. I thought that was pretty early in the second half where they seemed to be playing a little bit too deep.
I asked that because in the second half there, when Gabriel went off, it was the first time in 18 months Arsenal had played without both of them, Gabriel and Saliba. I just wonder psychologically, they're so important, aren't they, whether that backs up what you're saying.
This happened right at the start of the second half.
You got to dig in the thigh there, with the right on the knee into that little thigh there. I didn't see it at first, but then obviously he tried to run it off, but then, you know what I mean, it's causing a problem.
There was a lot of such giants, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's a lot of disruption, wasn't he? The best player to a certain extent on the pitch, Saka, he had to come off because, of course, they had to manage him. They don't want him getting injured. So they lose a little bit of impetus because every time he got the ball, he ran forward and more importantly, he never lost it. So he kept Arsenal in the game. And then you lose him and you lose Timber. So you can see why everybody's gone, wait there, let's just sit a little bit. Let's not take any chances.
But Steve, you see, we finished the game with Partey, White, Kivior and Miles Lewis-Skelly. You know what I mean? I think that's, you know, you have to take that and say, listen, let's go again next week.
No, and I think when you look at Arsenal's fixtures, I mean, it was really important that they got something out of that game today, because I think what they've got their next 6 fixtures, 5 of them are away. So that's a tough set of fixtures. That is. I mean, the League Cup they'll obviously play a reserve team, but the rest of the games, when you look at them, tough, really tough games.
OK, when we come back, we will get a Liverpool point of view and talk to the Liverpool manager, who still only lost 1 game.
Oh, and so many different aspects to that.
Better than us. I was, of course, not happy to concede just before half-time, but I think if you look at the first half, they maybe deserve to be 1 up. But what pleased me a lot was we had 1 time less to prepare this game, so 1 time less to recover. We had to fly. And then if I look how strong we were in the second half, physique, and also the ones that came in, that pleased me most. And being 2 times down in this stadium and still get a point is a good thing, I think.
So you said before the match that set pieces would be key. With the goal you scored, the set piece you scored, had you spotted anything maybe from the Bournemouth game last week, or the fact they didn't have Saliba?
No, because I didn't think our set piece was any similar to the one from Bournemouth.
Not a little bit with a near post flick, no?
If I remember correctly, yeah, but he played it back towards the 12-yard.
Yeah, you know more than me.
Yeah, I know, but it's a good thing that if you play against Arsenal, normally you lose the battle of set pieces. Today we didn't lose that one because we both scored 1. And like I just said, I think first half was theirs. Second half, maybe I wasn't completely surprised that we scored a goal and the equaliser in the second half. Let's put it that way.
So if the first half was theirs, what did you say to your players at half time? Maybe what did you change?
Actually, what we always talk about, it's mostly about, okay, how do they press us and where can we find a free player in the midfield, how can we open that up and how can we press them a bit better, because I think that wasn't perfect in the first half. And what helped us, in my opinion, as well, is the players that came in gave us also some new energy, and the ones that kept in the team were able, and they played already during the week, to keep going and keep fighting for a result, and that is what pleased me most in the end.
So what do you think happened second half? And what I mean by that is, do you think they sat off and tried to play on transition? Do you think you started winning more duels? Do you think you forced them back? Why did the game take a different turn?
Yeah, that's always difficult to tell you so immediately after the game, but in general in football it's not that weird that if one team is up that the other team is pushing a bit more. This is what happened also with us last week against Chelsea. I think after we went 2-1 up, we were also trying to defend our lead, and maybe we take a bit more risk. I don't know. What pleased me, I said it many times now, is that after having 1 day less to recover, still coming out here and being 2 times behind and then have so much energy to get the equaliser. And afterwards, both teams kept on going for a result. I think that's why we saw a good game today.
So after a really good start, I think the one thing that was thrown at you was a few people say, oh look, it's been an easy start, the fixture list has been kind, but now you've had the week you've beaten Chelsea, you've won in Leipzig, you've come here and got results. What have you learned during a week of really big challenges?
What surprises me is that people say we had an easy start, because everyone that has worked in the Premier League or is still working there, everybody is telling me before I came here, there is no easy game in the Premier League.
And then all of a sudden there is.
Now all of a sudden there are many easy games. But I agree with what the people say. We faced more than a few teams that are bottom league table, and we faced with Man United and Chelsea, 2 top clubs, and today with Arsenal, the 3rd one. So yeah, it's good to see where we are at this moment in time, not only when it comes to results, but also the way we play.
Thank you for your time. Well done.
You're welcome.
Arne Slot, talking about the energy that his changes made there in the second half.
Yeah, and I think it was always going to happen, to be honest, because we all felt that they didn't play well enough in the first half, and we expected a reaction, and whether that was from the 11 players who took the field in the second half, or the changes that were inevitably going to be made, it was always going to be that. And when you're chasing a game, you do sort of spring into action and try and get further up the field. So I fully expected that, and I think he, like Mikel said it, they noticed the game really well. Liverpool weren't good enough in the first half, and they were much better in the second half. That's why it was an even enough game.
I think it's always going to be difficult. You're never going to get total domination, particularly when you're going up against the opposition, like the quality players that you've got. There are going to be times in a game, no matter who you're playing, that you're going to suffer. And it's how you stick together, how well organised you are, how mean you are, and don't give anything away. And that's what you have to do when you're up against it.
Yeah, and that was the challenge, like you said, this week. They've gone to Germany, they've had a day less to prepare, then go to Arsenal.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'd say with Liverpool, where we know that if you give Virgil enough time at the back, he's going to be able to pass that ball in through that midfield, and then they can go from there. If you give Trent too much time on the ball, then I thought Arsenal done well with them in the first half, and I think that what we saw with the second half, especially when we saw the goal at Trent, is that when you drop off you're going to get punished. You're going to get punished for that. As poorly as Liverpool played in respect of the quality they've got on the pitch, you still can't do certain things against them and give certain players time. You see, like Mo didn't have a great game, but he came up with the goods, because the margins in staying tight enough to Trent to not make him have enough time to play that ball into a space for Nunes to. It's so tough to keep these teams quiet.
They had 62% possession in the second half, Liverpool.
Yeah, because it was either going to be at half-time who's going to make changes, or it was going to be after 15 or 20 minutes, because whether you're chasing the game, whether you're trying to protect the game, whatever, it's with the number of subs you have, with the number of games you have, the travelling that they have, then he was always going to make it. 1 or 2 players weren't playing particularly well. Robertson had a really tough game. Saka gave him a tough time most of that afternoon, so it was no surprise that he went off as well. So, but when you're making changes, you want them to affect the game somehow. Yeah. Whether that's going in to play better, whether that's to go and protect what you've already got, you need them to affect the game, and Liverpool's subs did that.
So, before you and I watched the game at Chelsea last week, you said, let's just hang on a bit here. It's early days. I want to see this week. I want to see Chelsea, a trip to Germany and a trip to Arsenal. They've got 2 wins and a draw. Yeah. What have you made of that week?
I thought they'd been excellent. I think there's all been different types of performances. I don't think they were necessarily sparkling in any of the 3 games that they've had this week, but they went to Leipzig and got a really important result. They've got 9 points now in the Champions League. They're effectively, when you've got Leverkusen coming up and Real Madrid coming up, who and they need to win. to already have 9 points is great. They've come to Arsenal today. We said before the game, the main thing is not to lose, to keep in touch with Arsenal, or as many points ahead as they were beforehand, and stay in touch with Manchester City is vitally important. And that's what they've done. And they've managed games at times. They've battled at times. You know, they've rode the luck at times. You know, against Leipzig, they could have scored. But effectively, they've been quite dominant against those oppositions. So it's. I think you have to be very, very pleased. They've got Brighton at home and away, haven't they, this week? One in the Carabao Cup and in the league. But the league game, of course, is far more important. And again, it's a case of getting back, rest up, and then fly down to Brighton and see what team he's going to put out. But he's going to have to start, wrapping a few of the players in cotton wool, isn't he? Because a couple of them are going to need a bit of a rest, really, because the Premier League is more important, with all respect.
Is that going to be a test for him? Because we've seen, he said he likes a settled side, he likes a change here and there. But he hasn't made wholesale changes in any period.
But he's also not afraid to use substitutes, and I think certainly in forward positions that they can do that. Midfield they can do that. But I think the two where it might be more difficult to do that is in the centre half positions with Konate and Van Dijk, particularly where with both of them have started the season. Both of them being a tower of strength and are both having a really, really good time at the minute. So if they were to lose either of those two, or both of them, like Arsenal have done, then that would be a huge test for them. But if they're fit, Liverpool will always have a chance.
I think so as well. And when you look at the fact that we know this team, they know how to navigate the season, especially with the start, the so-called easy start. They know what to do. This is why people doing the conversations about Arsenal challenging City without mentioning Liverpool, especially with Liverpool's start. And Liverpool have made this start look easy, because you can imagine, if Liverpool don't make this start look easy, then you're going to get into the Virgil van Dijk contract talk, Mo Salah contract talk. Oh, he's a new manager. Is he losing? So he's quietened all that noise, and they're still second without really breaking a sweat. So the people like Van Dijk, Trent in there, Mo in that dressing room, Robertson in that dressing room, they will know exactly how to manage what's happening right now. They're a dangerous team, Liverpool.
What you would say as well, Liverpool in the next few fixtures have got. I mean, I know the League Cup is away from home, but they've got home against Brighton. You know, they've got home against the Champions League the next two. The home to Aston Villa. Yeah. That takes care of itself when you're playing at Anfield a lot of the time. It's a lot easier, isn't it? And you're not travelling as far. I think the next game might be Southampton away in the league, where they have to go to. So actually, the fixtures now, they've got Chelsea out the way and they've got Arsenal out the way. They're starting to look favourable, because they've got home fixes up until the Manchester City game in early December.
It's the same week as Real Madrid, isn't it?
Yes.
1 week after of it. Real Madrid at Anfield, then City at
Anfield, But again, you're at Anfield, aren't you? You know already that takes care of itself. The crowd are going to be crazy. They're going to be on your side. 90% of the crowd are going to be on your side. So, and the magnitude of the game makes it. You don't even have to prepare. You know what you're going to do already in those type of games.
In terms of Arne Slot, he's new to the Premier League, but he's inherited this set of players, 75% of which have won the Premier League before as well. I mean, that's a fabulous position for a manager.
Do you know what? I've liked everything that I've seen with him. I like his attitude. I like the way he talks. It's no problem to him talking to the media. He can handle that, no problem at all. He's got a personality. He's not afraid to make changes when he's had to make changes. He's left players out and brought players in, taken players off. So I think it's, when you look at the big picture for Liverpool, I think it's been a really positive start, and they can have a really good season.
And we saw a nice bit of emotion from him with that second goal as well, because he's been really cool.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's been really cool up to this point. No real over-celebrating anything, but it was good for him to see him doing that today. Obviously, he knew what it meant. He knew what it meant, because people are putting this Arsenal game as, this is the first real team that Liverpool are playing. And then, obviously they're losing. You know what I mean? So you can imagine what they're getting themselves ready to start writing, the first decent team they come up against. So you can feel that kind of like sneaking in there. So I'm quite pleased for him as well. You know what I mean? People say I'm a bit closet Liverpool, but a lot of people say, if it's not Arsenal, then, obviously I wouldn't mind it being Liverpool or Newcastle, but that's many years to come. That's many years to come, right? But, I like the way it's gone for him and the way it's going for Liverpool.
I think the fact that they didn't bring any players in the summer, people were ready to aim that at them.
Yeah.
Of course, the Zubimendi deal fell through right at the last moment, as we all know. He only brought Chiesa in, and that was, you know, right at the last minute, and we knew he had his injury problems, so hopefully he'll get fit and integrate himself back into the squad. But the fact that, you know, financially Liverpool are doing really well, there's money available to spend in January if needed. You know, they'll be looking at players to bring in to strengthen the squad. I think he couldn't have probably wished for any better. Of course, you want to win against Nottingham Forest, that goes without saying. But Champions League, you know, Carabao Cup, and now the league, everybody's very happy with what he's done.
The only concern, the only chitter-chatter, understandably, amongst Liverpool fans is the 3 players that are out of contract at the end of this season, and they aren't just any old 3 players, are they?
No, they're 3 of their big hitters, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, obviously we heard Virgil van Dijk in the week saying, well, talks are ongoing. You would expect that, so that's nothing new. I'm certain that Liverpool want them to stay there, but whether it's the length of the contract or whether it's I mean, there was talk about Mo Salah going to Saudi last year, whether they'd already said to him, give us 1 more year to get someone ready and then we'll perhaps let you go. I don't know. But the longer it goes on, then the more difficult it will be for Liverpool with that situation.
So hold on to a top player at Liverpool who gets their mind turned by Real Madrid. I don't know who that could be, but...
I mean, the main thing is...
Good, Steve.
The main thing is that Liverpool are talking to all of them. They've offered them all new deals, and it all depends on... I mean, I don't know what they personally want to do, whether Mo Salah wants to leave, if he wants to go and play in Saudi Arabia, if he wants to go and play elsewhere. But I think if he wants to stay at Liverpool, and they all seem very happy, and his form by all of them is excellent, I think there has to be a deal to be done. You know, it can't be financial because... You know, Virgil and Mo are big earners anyway, so I don't think it's necessarily financial. And Trent will become a big earner if he signs his new deal. So I know talks are ongoing, and I don't think the finances will be a huge issue between the 3 of them. It all depends on whether I want to stay at Liverpool for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be. Am I happy here? It's as simple as that. Or do I want to have a change, you know?
Yeah, but Trent, for me, Trent's on. He's won everything now at Liverpool. I know he's come through, and I know how tough it is to leave Liverpool. But if you've got Real Madrid knocking and you've got a year left, you've got to think about that. You know, whatever you say, you know, you have to think about that. You know, he's somebody that can go for maybe a few years, and then he could come back. But like, when you look at it, it's not like he's not won everything for Liverpool there. So he's in a different, complete boat to
of course,
people.
And everybody in the world would want Trent Alexander-Arnold on a free contract, wouldn't he? Bayern Munich would want him, Barcelona would want him, everybody would want him. It's too desirable, the fact that you can get someone of that talent for zero. So, you know, we'll wait and see how it pans out.
And also, at the minute, it's not affecting their performances at all.
Not at
I
all.
mean, whether that would change January, February, March, when... If they're not going to stay and they are going on to pastures new, then subconsciously in your mind you'd have to think it may just do
better ask your former England team, mate, what it was like. Osman Rule was always the man. I know.
That's another story. Aren't we off air soon anyway?
Wrap it
up. Right, he's got his knees sore.